So guys, why are we not getting the Python-4? So due to the F-16I SUFA being added, and with its dev blog on the forum and everything, a lot of comments were asking for the Python-4 for it, right? Which I agree that it makes sense, right? I mean, the SUFA is one of the most modern versions of the F-16 that we have in the world. And the Israelis, obviously, I mean, the main missile that they use that are IR, right? It's the Python-4 and the Python-5 on it, right? Which makes a lot of sense for people to be asking for these missiles. But, of course, we had already a denial about these missiles before. But why are we not getting these missiles right now? So, we kind of have a little bit more information inside Gaijin to actually talk about this, because since a lot of people were asking for this missile, Smin and other community managers and Gaijin itself are responding a little bit to those comments, right? So first of all, they answered a lot of these questions, of course. So where's the Python-4? Oh, it's not coming because of balance, right? That's going to be the main answer. We will not have these missiles right now because of balance. It's kind of weird because obviously I don't think the Python-4 would break the game if we receive other missiles similar-ish to it added as well, right? And we're gonna talk a little bit about that later. But the major thing that we need to talk about here before is that it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, guys, I wouldn't wait too much. So why is that? Well, the thing is, yes, we have kind of a balancing scenario right now with top tier, with aircraft that I don't think we desperately need a new generation of IR missiles. The missiles that we have are way older than most of the aircraft, right? But they're still usable missiles that do their job, right? It's borderline to where the aircraft will have so much performance then the missiles start to be a little bit useless. This always happens, of course. Every single turn that we have that a next generation of missile or a next generation of jet happens, we will have this kind of line of one pulling the other, right? So if a next generation of jet is added, it means that the older missiles might not keep up with the performance that these new aircraft are putting onto a fight, meaning that the missile kind of becomes useless. That happened over and over again throughout the years, throughout the generations of missiles. Since the first generation of IR missiles like the AIM-9B and R3S, then for the AIM-9Js and R60s, to the AIM-9Ls and R60Ms, and then the AIM-9Ms and R73, right? So every single time that happens, it's one pulling the other. Sometimes the generation of the jet will make it so that the missiles are not good enough to get the kills, and sometimes the missiles are just following behind, or maybe even going forward, that they might be too good. And that's the balance that we need to have, right? The exact missile that it's needed for that generation. I don't think we need any more than that or any less than that without affecting too much of the balance, right? So, yeah, it makes sense that we are taking a little bit more time to something like the Python-4 to be added, right? Because we are already in a balanced scenario. We are still on the borderline of these jets that we are having in top tier, overpassing the performance needed for an IR missile to actually get a kill. Of course, remember, think about an example like if we got an F-22, for example, and we are still firing just the normal A9Ms and R73s, we already kind of miss against an Eurofighter. Imagine against an F-22, right? So, yeah, you would need to have the next generation of missile, right? So that's the first thing. That's the first reason why Gaijin is not adding it right now. We don't need it. I mean, the balance is already there. You don't have a feeling of impotence, basically, of having kills with these IR missiles when you are firing on top tier jets, right? So it's fine right now. But of course, remember that we are getting closer and closer to 5th generations. So the more we go to that, the more we will kind of have a feeling that the next generation of IR missile is needed. Okay, so We're getting closer and closer, slowly but surely, to a place where we will need the next generation of IR missiles. So let's talk about the PYTHON-4 itself. What Gaijin thinks is one of the main reasons why for now we will not see the missile beyond this one that I already talked about, that we already have kind of a balance. The AIM-9M already suffice as, for example, a SUFA missile, and it's okay, right? Beyond that, Gaijin posted this, or it's been posted this, which is, I think, one of the main points on the reasoning behind it, and I never thought about this. The PYTHON-4 is a matter of game balancing consideration. Like I said before, we already have a balance, so it's okay. Right now, no other equivalent exists beside the RVVMD. The RVVMD, guys, if you don't know, it is basically the R-74 that it's made for export. Okay, so it's basically an R-74 with some different things. It will be, of course, a little bit worse than the Russian R-74M or M2 even missiles. Okay, so it's an in-between missile, the R-73 and the R-74M, very similar to the normal R-74. Okay, this is basically just the export name of it, but it's almost the same. Okay, so he basically says then that right now we don't have any other equivalent existing besides this missile, meaning that only 2 to 3 nations at most could receive a missile of this kind. What he's meaning here, guys, what he's saying here, and even after that, he says after that, it's only the more advanced generation of missile that would come to all nations, so not something planned for this update. What he's saying here, guys, is that the R-74, the normal R-74, that some people say that even we don't have a lot of numbers out of that missile, that they just jumped straight to the R-74M in production, the Russians, right? And the PYTHON-4 are both missiles that are kind of an in-between generation from what we have right now in the game and the 9Xs, the R-74Ms, the IRIS-T, etc., etc. It means that the PYTHON-4 and the original R-74 or RVVMD here, as an export model, would be not as good as the IRIS-T, as the M9X, and so on. And because of that, it's kind of hard to add these missiles, which is very interesting, guys. It's very interesting because, remember, Gaijin tries to have a balance, of course, throughout the whole gameplay season, generation of things, right? If a nation doesn't have it, or in this case, for example, the PYTHON-4 entered in service before, for example, an M9X or R-74M or even like an IRIS-T or something, right? It's a missile that it's in between generations, like I said. It's a missile that, was developed to be the next generation, but it wasn't as good as, obviously, the PYTHON-5, which will be on par with these other missiles, and the R-74 will kind of be the same. So what that means, guys, is that at the end of the day, they probably are planning, maybe, because these missiles are in this in-between, kind of, it's a 4.5 generation instead of a 5th or a 4th generation, right, if you compare to jets, we might not see the PYTHON-4 being added like this, or even the Python, or even the R-74. They might just jump straight to the M9X, IRIS-T, R-74M, and then the PYTHON-5. The weird part is that the PYTHON-4 is actually inside the files of the game, and they say, otherwise later, that they're not planning on adding the PYTHON-4 with a capped seeker, for example, or something like that, that would make it on par with other missiles in the game right now, but just more third maybe or something, right? So at the end of the day, it's very weird. I have no idea what they're planning on that regard of the PYTHON-4 or R-74, but at the end of the day, it is something that they're really, really thinking about just maybe jumping, just because it is problematic to add the PYTHON-4 against AIM-9Ms, and normal missiles like that, or even the AIM-9X against the PYTHON-4. So, because it's an in-between missile. So, yeah, kind of weird. You let me know in the comments what you think they're gonna do, because if they're considering this, it just feels like they're just gonna straight jump to the PYTHON-5 when the time comes, right? But why would they have the PYTHON-4 in the files right now? Kind of weird. isn't it? So yeah, I have no idea what they're gonna do, but these are the reasons why the Python 4 is not being added right now. We already have a balancing scenario right now. It's already fine. We don't need anything just destroying everything. And at the same time, the Python 4, and they consider the R-74 as well, the base model, that they don't have any counterparts to it unless it's better than those missiles. So we're gonna have better versions of those missiles. Why not just add for everybody the next generation, in the next IRIS-T, you know, Mika IR, R-74M, Python 5, right? So very interesting, but these are the reasons we're not gonna see the Python 4 for now in the game. Sad, but kind of makes sense at the same time. Let me know in the comments what you think, and see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye guys, see ya.